And we are going to do something new. We've got Super Mario, well, Mario's Story, which is a Super Mario ROM hack, obviously. And I can't wait to see what will end up happening. We just come out from a grand old skateboarding competition, and it'll all be grand. Let's by Paper Mario 94. That'll be quite the interesting game. Let us see if we can, sort out the whole the cards and shuffle them properly. Luigi was kidnapped by the evil King Thwomp. Now it's Mario's turn to rescue him. We played as Luigi before in the moving day stuff, and he didn't really succeed. And I believe he was trying to save Mario from his evil toothbrush, or trying to warn everyone to stop, throwing, litter out of the train, and I die straight away. That's a grand old start. It's always good to kick it off in the most, in the best way possible in Goomba Road. Love dangers in Goomba Road. You better watch out from lightning. Will strike about 70 times, and we don't want that to happen because lightning, it tends to hurt a tad, just a little tiny bit. We don't want to be struck by lightning because, maybe in some cartoons it teaches you to fly, but it doesn't actually teach you to fly in real life. Instead, you become some evil underlord of of some poor planet that no one really wants to go to, which is relatively unfortunate. We don't want to do that when you've been struck by lightning. It's just one of those things that you have to try and avoid. We've got discolored Goombas, or the politically correct way to call these Goombas would be kind of actually, what would be the politically correct way to call Goombas of that color? Because, sometimes in the world that we live in, especially the way the government has been recently, with it all, telling you that the only way you are able to, buy groceries is through the internet, then, we have to try and, stop that. And let's come together for once, because if you don't come together, then there's really no point in doing anything. I mean, that guy was, spending about half an hour, but his hammers were missing. Poor guy. And that is not a trap, and it looks like I'm collecting all the M coins. They're normally Yoshi things, but the M is taking over because we don't tend to like Yoshi these days, allegedly, and I've missed one, but it doesn't really matter in my humble opinion. If you want a job done, don't worry about doing it properly. Let's just try and try giving it to your village idiot, and maybe he will, figure out some way of messing it up in a grand old spectacle-esque kind of way. And now, Football Man Cave. What will be lurking within these caves, and what kind of secrets will we find in this airport of delusion that we find ourselves, mistakenly stumbling into? Is the back alleys of, of horribleness, and we kill the first Goomba. One thing I've noticed seems to be a theme is those gaps with, I can pick up these guys. Doesn't seem, once again, right, and I don't think it seems right to be throwing Goombas about. I mean, after all, Goombas are living things too. We don't need to be chucking them about and being disrespectful to them. They probably have their own kind of their own issues, their own problems that they want to get sorted, and we're probably not helping them by throwing them about like they're some sort of horrible crazed rugby ball, and I need to be big in order to get past them. We must jump over you, Football Man, with your apparent caves, and that's another thing. This was on the first level as well, so it is quite good to be somewhat associated, and you not associated, but have things that seem familiar. I quite like that, even though if you do it too much, then it will become a tad bit mundane, and you'll end up just swearing at your teacher and getting expelled, which some people might think that's quite a good holiday, but being expelled isn't a good thing, because you'll end up having to do all these stupid rubbish jobs, like try and find your brother from some sort of Goomba Kingdom, which most people can't really be bothered doing that. That was quite a short level. Quite happy how it went. Relatively short level, no complaints right there. Managed to survive this level, didn't die straight away, which fills me with some happiness. Flying islands, why yes sirree, let us go flying into a tour bus that's going to fly, and that Goomba just decided that life was no longer worth living, that, just it was, his bank debt got a bit too much, and his poor like nothing was going right. His marriage was failing. I mean, you can't blame a guy for being a bit like tad bit peeved with stuff. I'd be pretty peeved if if I had like a pet hamster and it decided that it didn't no longer wanted anything to do with me just because of actions that may have happened recently. Like we're in the caravan, and they didn't. He wasn't very happy because we took home a lot of like all these kind of dog biscuits, and the hamster doesn't like dog biscuits. Hedgehogs like dog biscuits though, I think, but I don't know if it's like healthy for them. I think it like gives them a bit of gas, which maybe it'll help your digestive system if you're able to drive a tractor and not crash into all the cones. There's cones. There's something down here. I mean, I actually quite like the look of this level. It's actually like relatively. It looks nice. It looks quite grand. It makes me fills me with lots of joy, and it's always good to have a level that fills you with joy. And let's go down this pipe. Why not? We only live once, after all. Apparently so. I mean, so unless of course you're a cat, where you're apparently you only live twice. They say it's 9 times, but cats have to be very wary because they don't have the same sort of luxuries as you and me. Our first castle, Goomba Castle. Good name. Seem to be skimming through this game like it's like it's going out of fashion. Even though I want to get that. I guess we're never going to get that P-switch. I hope we won't end up regretting it later. Which hopefully me and the P-switch will be able to meet again once more, so that we can just get married and just forget about the whole ordeal, and let's try not headbutting spikes, because it's not necessarily a grand old health choice. It's one of those lifestyles that I don't really want to make famous. And I can't get up there. I can't get up there, and there's no point. There's no point in any of this poor shenanigans that we find ourselves in when you're wrestling the postman to aim for like the last. And I need to try and not jump so stupidly. I need to try and come up with a better tactic before it becomes a game over, because that won't be good. And no, still can't jump up there, which which is a shame. Like, maybe if I do this. Please come on. Why didn't you stand? I think this is relatively relative simple jump appears to be kind of screwing me up a little tiny bit, which we have to try and stop doing. And let's get killed by the Goomba, of course. Gee whiz. That's game over. Wow. That sucks. Even though I had to play the game from the very start, I actually, did enjoy, the rerun, and this isn't a really fun ROM hack. I've come equipped with the very fashionable, flower suit, which I'm hopefully going to gain maximum success with, because success is always one of the most enjoyable fruits of life, which I've decided just to sacrifice each point to to gain the most success, and if you don't do sacrifice things, you're never going to achieve really true happiness, which I think is what this whole game wants us all to realize. And it's a life lesson. It's actually really smart in a game, which I'm supposed to pick my poison, which I'll take the high road, and I'm wrong. That is not fair, but that's actually it's a life lesson that we all must learn. We all have to pick our paths, and you have to stick by the consequences, even if it's going to end up sticking a turnip through your. Yes, something that begins with S. I was going to say something not very PG right there. I'll be back. And now, this was where we died the last time, and I realised that you can't take the high road because the ninja warriors live up there, and they will only throw their ninja stars at you, which is very impolite, and they should really just be ashamed of themselves for, just being just plain rude for no apparent reason. And I collect myself my P-switch. Actually, this is a really clever, clever thing to do. Except I don't actually know how I'm going to survive that bit which I cheated at. So, I guess if I was to wait for a little bit, or, oh, good grief, I could wait for a bit and then rush the free, like so, yes, and if a very, ingenious plan made by yours truly, a guy that needs no introduction, and then you get punched in the face by a Goomba that wants to steal all your gold. And now let us try not to die this time. That would be helpful to everyone involved. And armed with my P switch and trying to avoid everything in sight that will possibly try and kill me or end my life, whichever one, while you just taunting them. That's the best way to get away from a lion, is by taunting them. You'd love to see them, and I bet you that the arrows are now down here. No, it's still up there. That's brilliant. I love continuity. It makes TV watching that much easier, even though TV is apparently spawned by a zebra that didn't do his homework on a regular basis. Let's just go into this door and face giant Goomba, which let's just dance on his head, and he somehow hurts you, and I managed to get out of him. That Goomba was superbly easy, that even a baby dolphin could destroy him. See you later, massive, giant, fat, obese Goomba. Yes, I would like to save. Let's see, well, we'll have to see later what is behind this grand old pipe. Can anyone possibly, withhold and be able to contain their excitement? I know that it's quite difficult for me to. I will see you all later. I've been Xavierthemighty, and I will destroy whatever is behind this pipe.